Hello and welcome to another very special day here at Jardin du Mayfair. It's been a while since we've had some RMs out and the last video did really well. So we want to make sure that we keep going with the kind of momentum and showing you guys some amazing pieces. Today is another pinch yourself moment as we have two of the Richard Mille RM 7201 lifestyle chronographs, one in black ceramic and one in brilliant cut factory diamonds. Guys, I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who's been supporting the channel. Please do hit that subscribe button and we'll keep this content coming your way. Today, we're going to look at a couple of RM 7201 lifestyle chronographs. These are my personal favorites. I think that they are a wearable RM. Let's take a look and we'll have a deep delve into these models. Look at this pair and what a fine pair they are. So, Richard Mille released the 7201 in 2020, hot on the heels of the discontinuation of one of their signature lines, the RM11. Clearly, if they were bringing a substitution in against one of the legends, it had to be good. And let me tell you, it is. The real fanfare of these pieces, other than being perfectly sized and beautifully formed, is that they are the first RMs to be treated to an entirely in-house movement. Now, it might be a bit shocking for such an astronomical brand to have relied on external movements for so long, but indeed they have. The RM11 was powered by a Vaucher caliber with an attached Dubois de Praz module. Vaucher have a long history of making excellent movements, and the DD module is used liberally throughout watchmaking as a kind of bolt-on, capable of turning any movement into a chronograph. It's been used by AP before, so this is nothing to turn your nose up about, because for some high-end manufacturers, in-house movements, they go hand in glove. So, given that Richard Mille is already a controversial brand, it was about time that they pulled the caliber CR-MC1 out of the hat. And it's an absolute belter of a movement, which can be viewed front and back through the skeleton dial and the sapphire caseback. It's a 39 jewel and 428 component flyback column wheel chronograph. It uses oscillating pinions to connect the chrono to the gear train. So in less technical terms, it means that you can actually run the chronograph on this watch all day long and it would not affect the power reserve or the timekeeping. So if you looked at something like a Daytona and you ran the chronographs, the power reserve would of course run down. How they've managed to do it, it's absolutely incredible. The design and the development of this new caliber took 30 months. You're hearing that correctly. 30 months of full-time work by a whole team. And the caliber is built around grade 5 titanium base plates and bridges. While the heart of the beast is now up there where it should be, let's get into the aesthetics. Clearly, official watches being official watches, we aren't visiting these models in their initial release form of titanium or rose. We're going for black ceramic and white gold diamond straight into the deep end. Now, in order to be into watches, you've got to be a bit of a nerd. You can be a cool nerd, or you can be a doesn't really get out much nerd. Either way, you'll probably have to have a bit of Star Wars blood in you. And if you're anything like me, a Darth Vader and Stormtrooper comparison may not be as far off the cards as it should be. When I get these two pieces together, particularly the fact that they have the black strap and the white strap mounted on them, I often think of the forces of good and evil. And unfortunately, in this case, I think it would be evil for me. Let's run through some quick stats on these and a little bit of grizzle. The RM7201 case is 38.4 millimeters wide. It's 47 millimeters in length and 11.6 millimeters tall. However, these are just figures because the way that this thing curves, it fits perfectly on the wrist. It is compact and superbly proportioned. I can't believe I'm going to dare and say this, but it could be even a subtle Richard Mille. Because of its stature, it was billed with great fanfare on release as being a unisex piece. It is, and much as I don't want to appear radical, my opinion that the categories of men's and women's watches are a little past their sell-by date. If a watch fits your wrist and it feels comfortable, get it on and stop worrying about it. So that's the first bit of grizzle, but my second is probably more to the point, and it's a classic one for me. You'll have heard me complain about it on other videos. It's 30 meters water resistant. I think it's reasonable to add a little negative opinion into what is otherwise an overwhelmingly positive review about these pieces. And I have to say that in the modern world, 30 meters, which equates to splash proof, doesn't really cut it for me, especially at these values. There's a lot to be said for the additional reassurance of RM's standard 50-meter water resistance, and I fail to see why they couldn't have done it in the 7201 line, because you may not want to swim in it, but you don't want to clench when giving it a clean either. The three-part cases on these are identical in every way bar the choice of material and decoration. The tachymeter frames see some variation, the one being black and the other being white, but both use rose gold surrounds and hands for contrast. The TZP model is a sleek matte black tour de force with rose gold midcase, hands, numerals and a matching black strap. I do have to confess, it's my favourite variant. I really love the way that the warm rose accents and the dial colours contrast against the black framework. There is also the obvious benefit of ceramic being infinitely more scratch resistant than its metal counterparts. It suits clumsy people like me because I have a very intimate relationship with door frames. It's almost a little bit stealth, or at least it would be if rose gold was replaced with something a little more under the radar, but that would kind of defeat the point of wearing a Richard Mille. Now then, this takes nothing away from the white gold and brilliant cut diamond. This variant is far more extravagant of a beast. So when you add the white gold and white strap combination, it really has a fresh feel to it, which the slightly more menacing black ceramic lacks. In an ideal world, I'd have both. Summer and winter sorted. RM offers this model in a choice of 3 diamond styles. Snow set, which uses randomly sized and placed stones placed very closely together and give an overall effect of the watch being dipped in snow. Baguette set, which, let's face it, is completely baller because they use the largest stones. However, it lacks the glittering light play of the full brilliant cut diamond model, which is what we have in hand today. Brilliant diamonds are a conical shape with a large top and cut with many facets and planes, all designed to reflect the optimum amount of light, which is the core principle of diamond use. And it really works. One of the reasons that I quite openly love diamond set RMs is the contrast between peak watchmaking technology and stones which have been sitting under our world developing for between 1 and 3 billion years. If we take the average time span of the process that they've been gradually forming for, which is over half of our planet's lifetime, and then those diamonds end up adorning one of horology's powerhouses, like it or not, it's a mind-blowingly cool concept. The dials on these are absolutely glorious, although I do understand that they prove upsetting for those who prefer symmetry on their watches. The 3, 6 and 9 sub-dial layout is also gone here. The RM7201 has neither. It's a completely asymmetrical chronograph and has the following sub-dial layout: minute counter at 1, hours at 5 and seconds at 9. There is also a function indicator at 3, which displays winding, neutral and hand setting points when the crown is pulled out. The skeletonization is typically and exceptionally well executed. It has an almost organic look to it thanks to the positioning of the subdials and the use of curved arcs and lines to pull everything together. It's one of my favourite RM dials, and if I'm honest, it might even be knocking away the suspended movement of the RM55 Bubba. Regardless of your choice of material, the RM7201 is a pretty perfect, and dare I say it, mid-range option from Richard Mille. It carries the technological complexity and finishing that has become one of the hallmarks of the brand. It loses the kind of in-your-face element that RM have become associated with. More to the point, it's a watch that has a chameleon-like quality because the material you choose, whether it be titanium, rose, ceramic or gold, or diamond. It radically changes the appearance of the watch, meaning that there genuinely is one to suit every style. So as bonkers as it might sound, I can actually see a world where you would want multiple 7201s because they just look so different from one another, depending on the material that they're made of. So they've done such a good job of making these models the same but different. So the prices on these beauties, the white gold with diamonds is priced at £345,000, and my personal favourite, Darth Vader, at £420,000. Detractors of the brand will say so regularly that RM is too large, too showy, too new, too expensive, too gaudy, and everything else negative under the sun. But I guess much like saying watches are now men's or women's, these complaints have also seen their heyday. So perhaps it's time to move on and embrace the idea that not only can RM do big and showy, but they are also mastering the art of sensibly sized and utterly refined. On this channel, we're no stranger to a few pinch yourself moments, and I'm having one right here with this pair of Lifestyle 7201 chronograph watches. They're just amazing, and I can't wait to try them on. Guys, thank you so much for joining us on another YouTube video. Please do like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.